Hello everybody and welcome back to another video. I'm your host OT, and seeing as I didn't get to review the Hetty Feather finale, so this was the final adventure, I might as well talk about the ending of it, because oh god was it. I have the DVD and it literally lasts an hour and 30 minutes because it was a 3-parter in the original broadcast. But God almighty, the ending is something to talk about. So basically what happens at the end, that Matron Bottomley is found going through Harriet's belongings to then find a ticket to New York to steal it away. I repeat, steal it away. And then Hetty catches eye of this and just decides to let her go. Yeah, just let her mortal enemy go.
What?
And what does Matron excuse this with? Yes, you heard that correctly. Oh, Mr. George Calendar can help. Well, let's be honest, the Calendars had a bit of a hard time because of the loss of Rosamund, and that was a pretty sad part of the finale. I'm sorry, but George Calendar paying for it? Oh, don't worry, we'll excuse that. Hetty decided at the end, let's just walk away from the Foundling Hospital, and Harriet's just okay with this? You know, she just lets her best friend's mortal enemy go and have a new life in the place where she lives, who does not deserve redemption whatsoever, right? Let me remind you of the things that she tried to do. She tried to smuggle away Blanche at the beginning of the second series, tried to smuggle Hetty away at the end of the first, and then she decided to con everyone to raise funds for the roof, which actually ended up being the funds for her ticket to New York. And then just to really put the icing on the cake, need I remind everyone that in the Christmas 2-parter she somehow got out of prison to then raise a gang of destitute children, to then go around stealing things from everybody, and then make them Hetty's responsibility when she was about to be caught, and then ran off again. The only way that they could have fixed this was for Hetty to not give Matron Bottomley the ticket to New York, and just for those two to just say goodbye. Because yes, during that 3-parter, she was homeless for a bit. And then Hetty decided to let her stay with her, which was a gesture of goodwill of a sort. Here you have two long-lasting rivals in the book and in the first 3 series of the show. You have this long-term storytelling, and then at the end, Hetty just decides, I'm just going to turn face and redeem you. Yeah, they just turn her face just like that. And then, oh look, Matron Bottomley's going on the boat to New York. Yay, bye! It's like if Darth Sidious somehow turned good. The point is, there are some villains who can be redeemed if it's done right and the circumstances are correct. But there are some characters who, point blankly, should stay the bad guy. So that's just that little rant out of the way. But first, I've got to talk about the other thing that I, quite frankly, hate about this episode. Was when Harriet was going to call off their wedding because Matthias was playing football. Harriet threatens to leave and almost does so until Matthias begs her to come back because she left something and she said it would mean something to him. And like, Men can't mind read. And then the other thing is that they're missing Cook Jenkins. They'd get rid of the great Cook Jenkins? Other than that, though, other elements of it kept the charm that it had had in the first few series, and a reminder of why we watched it in the first place. You know, reuniting the old gang, bringing back all the lads, bringing back Cranbourne, Winterson, Nurse Macclesfield, also going after Cranbourne. Yeah, most of it was a fond farewell. It's just the ending didn't make sense. And I know that this show's been off the air for years now, but I wanted to conclude my thoughts on the programme as a whole. I think that, as I say, for the first few series, it was good. It was charming, and it took notes out from the book, and it adapted them into television format. Same for the third series. But when it got to the fourth, and, you know, the Calendar Hall stuff, it verged off of the main source material as a whole, and then some of it didn't make sense, some of it was just woke, and then other bits of it were just, it was alright. There were clever aspects as well that went into the whole Dawnstar story arc, and yes, it did take time for the mystery to be solved. And I am doubling back on something that I said about, you know, the wanting the mystery of the Dawnstar to be solved. But looking back on it now, some of my thoughts on this have changed. Christmas Adventure storylines were okay, but the musical, I couldn't stand. I couldn't bear it. And then as for this, as I say, everything, most of it is okay until the ending and Harriet not giving Matthias a chance to book out the chapel, and when they find out that it is, you know, it's in disrepair as it was, they don't give them enough chance. So, yeah, thank you all very much for watching this video, and I'd like to thank you all very much for watching, and I will see you all later. Ta-ra!